get them right now.
Okay. I started the recording. I have a few thoughts on what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're trying to add things to your kit, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna play worse. Mostly because you're probably thinking more than you normally would, like having to actively think, "Oh, I'm gonna go for this," uh, which is the only way, other than potentially just like I said, only doing that in like a practice section. Like if you're trying to incorporate things in general, you're gonna be thinking about it, and that's gonna take away from you, you know, in like intuitively thinking and instinctually thinking or feeling, I guess. And so you're going to play worse, right? That's just how it is. Um, that being said, though, as time goes on, the more you try to go for it, the more it's just going to be like second nature, right? And edge canceling is kind of a weird thing too, because it's not really like an intuitive thing. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, it's one of those things where unless you like, I don't know, it's one of those things. Unless you saw someone else do it, you weren't really going to think about it yourself, so to speak. But I don't know.
Like some of the routes that he did with his edge cancels, I was
Oh
like,
my god, you're so quiet right now for some reason.
what about now?
You're still very quiet. I don't know what happened. One
What
sec. Let
about
me.
how about now?
No, you're still quiet. I have you 200%.
Oh dang.
All right, nothing changed on my end. I don't think.
All right, what about now?
Oh, you're better now. You're perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying like some of the routes that he went for, I wouldn't have thought of that. And like this is the first time I've really even tried to go for more edge cancels. At least like as a mix up to approach, literally to just spook my opponent. I just want to spook them. Want them to not feel like they can just run at me.
Yeah. You want to change it up on them?
Yep. Crap. Oh. All right. I could not. I ran into West last night. I could not. I could not approach. Felt like I couldn't approach. Rather.
The legendary Wes.
Yeah.
Approaching Samus is weird. I find it's not good to approach Samus from far. Then again, it's really not good to approach Sam or any character from far. But Samus, on a lot of stages, either can wall you with missiles or can just crouch cancel everything or react and deal with anything you do. But did you send the games?
Yeah. I mean, rather I'm sending them.
Oh, okay, they're probably just like uploading.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah, Slippy files are bigger than they seem.
Dang, this is like taking longer than putting up the video. Let me try it again.
All right.
Oh, this will just send one. God damn it. There we go. All right. All right. All right. I'm gonna delete. Oh my God. What? No, it just worked. Fuck.
uh, which ones are the first ones? If that makes any sense, like which ones?
Like the very. I think the last one is the earliest one. One of the earliest ones.
Okay. Give me 1 sec. Still downloading. There we go. Done. Here. Copy. So I'm just gonna put it in a different folder so it's easier to manage.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Okay. Oh, my launcher is taking a while to start up. Ah, because there was an update, of course. Sorry, it would be 9:14. Yeah, so that's the first one. Okay. Launch. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second.
Ready?
There we go. Okay. Okay. The Samus matchup is it's kind of with approaching at least it's similar to Peach, where if you're very predictable, they can just kind of wall you or CC you. Um, and so it's more difficult to play as far away from them and get away with it as you could with some other characters. Um, that being said, 1 sec. I'll turn off the volume. So, that being said, with Samus though, if you can force Samus to shield and apply good pressure, there's not really much they can do. Thankfully, unlike Falco and Fox, when you get hit by like up B, typically you're not really put into a disadvantaged situation as badly as like they are. A lot of times Samus will be able to like up B them and be able to even punish their defensive option, like their tech. Whereas with Falcon, a lot of the times we're not really put in a bad situation and we can actually punish the Samus for doing it, right? That being said, this is a matchup I haven't thought about in a long time, but it's one of those ones where, in particular, you can actually just play at like a decent, like about maybe a few character lengths away, and you can just do like short hop approaching knee or even nair sometimes, and you can get away with it a lot more than you could against other characters, because again, you need their shield, or even if you were to hit them crouch canceling, it would have to be like them at low percent if you were to knee them for them to actually get a punish off of it. So, in particular, in this matchup, like I can already say you don't want to be nairing in at like 0. Nair is fine. It's just not necessarily when they're at 0 or when they're able to react to it, right? It's good because it can break missiles. It can, it can catch Samus sometimes, but most of the time you want to kind of play it where you're using more of your stronger hitting moves or grab or whatever at low percent and tack up enough percent so that you can either hit them with like a starting move like a nair or maybe a stomp to a knee instead of getting crouch canceled at 0 and getting punished for it, right? Because again, I can already see you're using nair too much at low percent. Like right there, you could have stomped that, you could have kneed that, you could have done a lot, you could have grabbed that. Maybe not grab, but yeah, you could have easily have kneed that or stomped that. And I don't actually know for sure if Samus can get another down smash off an ASDI down knee or not. But majority of the time, you're probably not going to get punished for kneeing there, and you can even stomp there if you're fast enough.
I think that was an attempt at a stomp, but I don't know. I just get rolls sometimes.
You're moving your analog stick too quickly, probably. Like you're already not in this position. I'd already be holding forward, where you might not be holding forward. In which case you're trying to jump and then hold forward, and it's much, much, much more difficult to time that with the jump, like with the hold forward, than it is to already be holding forward. Like right here, I dashed in, I'm already holding forward, right? Similar to
Right.
like on platforms when I was talking about. I don't know if we talked about it before, but you would be already holding a direction. You just have to just press down into that notch, right?
Cool.
Similar applies to this, where you're already holding forward. In which case, you just have to just basically time jump, and you'll be able to jump out and stomp or knee them, right? In a perfect world, people would probably be buffering it out with what do you call it, with C stick, but
Hmm.
I don't recommend doing that. Um, so in this case, it's better to just do, uh, just time it. But that's why you roll there. It's because you're trying to jump forward, and without having jumped yet, like being jump squat, you're pressing forward. So then that takes um, priority, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things where you either work in the fact that you're already holding forward, but again, it's a scary situation because not scary per se, but it's one of those situations where you're more afraid, I guess, because you're not like you don't want to be DIing that way, I guess, potentially. But at the same time, actually, no, I don't think there's actually necessarily anything bad with it. Let me look at it again, because you're low enough percent where even if you were to hold forward and get hit here, he's down smashing, so you're not really going to get fucked for it too bad. But at higher percent, I can see why you wouldn't be wanting to hold right, just so that you can maybe DI a different way potentially, right? Like for instance, let's say you do get hit by down smash here at higher percent, you were DIing this way, you'd be dead, right?
Right.
So I can see why, but at low percent, typically it's like you're not really gonna lose out on holding forward here, because he can't really shield poke you. He can't really cause you to get into a position where you DIing that way is gonna kill you or even send you off stage. So at the end of the day, it's almost like there's no reason not to be just holding forward here. But that again, that is before going on that tangent. That is why you rolled here. Nair. Anytime you're close enough to Samus and you don't think they're gonna attack, doing a knee is better than doing an air, especially at lower percent. Knee is really good because again, you do a nair, and unless you're gonna space it well, you're just gonna get down smash, and even then, you're just gonna get down smash probably anyways. Yeah. See that this is where nair is good, because it breaks missiles, right? The thing is though, did you fast fall too soon? Yeah, you fast fell too soon. So you actually had an amazing nair here to catch him coming in after the missile, but you ended up fast falling too soon, which is probably like you were scared getting hit by the missile and weren't sure you were gonna break the missile. But what you want to do is you want to time it so that your nair hits either when the first hit of the nair hits to hit the missile or the second hit. Which you could just, if you want, you can just practice. I think you could just set up like a save state in Uncle Punch and just have Samus missile at you, maybe on like Pokemon. So if you could try to set that up, I don't know if you know how to double missile, but you could set that up and have it so that Samus is double missiling you on Pokemon Stadium, and you could just nair at it and kind of get comfortable with nairing the different, with either the first hit or the second hit. That's what I
Hmm.
would do if you're really like unsure of whether or not your missiles are hitting. But in particular, I mean, it's not too difficult to time it. You pretty much like it's about like what is this? Depending on your spacing, you can pretty much like react to them throwing out the missile and actually nair. Because let's see, I never actually thought about this, but I don't know. I can't do. How do I do? I can only go advanced by one. That's what it is. I'm used to YouTube controls where you can go backwards and forwards frame advance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, no, you can't react to it, but you could actually might be able to if you're not reacting to the actual missile coming out. Point is that you can definitely, if you're further away, you can react to it. If not, you could throw it out at a timing in which you think they're going to throw out the missile, which feels like what you did here. In both cases, you would just hit them. But again, Only reason why this messed up wasn't because you messed up the nair and the missile, or the timing on the nair or the spacing. It's all because of the fact that you fast fell too soon. You got the nair right. You're like, oh, this is a juicy nair too, and then you just fast fell too soon. You want to fast fall after the second hit comes out, not before it comes out, right? That being said, you got a single hit nair into up air, which is not horrible, and you probably could have gotten even more if you hadn't gotten the up smash there, right? You could have up aired, probably could have turned around and shielded probably, or even ran to the left and then got the whiff punish by dashing back in. Whenever they bomb, if they love to use bombs, it doesn't combo. Unless, of course, they hit you. It's kind of like single hit, where unless they hit you and somehow are able to act immediately, like do like a instant bomb nair, and even that doesn't really work on Falcon. So if they love using bombs, you're pretty much okay to just shield or just dash away like you did.
I think he was doing like instant bomb grapple. I didn't know what he was trying to go for.
Yeah, in particular, it's there's really like this isn't combo. Like, you'll see like you were able to immediately roll out, right? So always keep that in mind. And even if he does do grapple, that doesn't lead to like grapple doesn't hit you far. It does like 5% or something. Samus isn't really like in a position to aggress after. Like it really doesn't do anything, right? And doing a bomb dare here, like you're able to roll out and like you can't really do much, right? That being said, the only real issue you've had so far, other than like a few tech flubs, is your liberal use of like nair from really, really far away, right? Like you'll notice, like in the first bit, we go to the very beginning. You nair in fully one time, you nair in fully again another time. You nair in again. That was a better nair because you're like ran up a little bit and then naired in his face, which was better. But then you do it again like a second later, right here. You nair in, which again he could be holding in or holding down. So it's like like, and you're not getting punished because this is an old school Samus, right? He's not going to be CC. He's not going to be looking at it like, okay, I'm going to be punishing Falcon coming in. I don't even know what he's actually thinking about because again, he's been playing since 2004, so who knows what kind of game plan this guy has as like a Samus player. But all of the good Samuses are either going to be walling you better or they're going to be like trying to either react or proactively crouch cancel or shield or do anything to stop you from just coming in as however you want. Because that's basically what happens right what's happening right now. He's just letting you come in any way that you want. Like you could have thrown in a stomp and you would have caught him here. You could have thrown in a knee. Like you could have thrown even in like a late up air, you would have hit him. And this really shouldn't be working as easily as it is. That being said, it's the first 12 seconds of the match, so maybe he's not like thinking about that. But that's just something to keep in mind because I don't think you'll necessarily. We'll see if you'll change, but I have a feeling that you're going to keep doing that as the games go on, probably. That being said, you kind of had the nair hit, and you just kind of again gave him the space, and then you dashed away like almost to the left side of the screen. I don't know if you were expecting him to dash attack or what, but you gave him a lot of space afterwards, which you didn't need to do. And then again, we talked about using like up air in neutral. Unless they're above you, just don't use it, right? And even then, the only time you're really going to find Samus above you is going to be like an approaching nair, like a full hop approaching forward with nair, where they can do like the two nairs or whatever, right? Or like a delayed nair. And in this situation, you can contest it, but I find most of the time unless you're going to contest the startup, it's usually better not to even try to touch it, because if you were at a higher percent and you trade, Samus is in a better position than you are, more likely than not. And so I find it's almost better to just kind of wait and then punish maybe hitting after the first one, or maybe just avoiding the second one, or avoiding that late nair, right? Either the
Right.
late initial nair or the late second nair, whatever, however they choose to approach you with the nair. But usually what they do is they'll do an early nair, like an instant full hop approaching nair, and then when they're falling down, they'll do another nair or some other move. But typically it's another nair. That being said, like you can cut it off, but I don't really recommend it. But again, to reiterate or to restate, don't be using up air and neutral unless they're strictly above you, in which, and like, you're going to hit them. In this case, there's no reason for Samus to be above you. And again, the old school Samus is not really a chance. There's not really a reason for him to do that. He's going to be a lot more defensive. Like, imagine how Hugs will play, and that's kind of the idea. Hugs will probably nair, but someone who's worse than Hugs and equally as, if not more old school, probably not gonna. Yeah, and again, see, this is harder because you're probably in this situation. You're definitely not going to be holding back, like I was talking about before with the holding forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, though, this is the kind of thing you need to practice in Uncle Punch, like a bit, where they have a literal training thing already set up. You don't even have to set it up yourself, where you act at a shield. So I would just recommend just having Samus hit your shield and then acting at a shield, and just practicing, or just any character, every character really.
Yeah, I was practicing that a lot with really I was practicing that a lot with Sheik, like Sheik F tilt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember I asked you that question about Sheik F tilt, or I asked you to like see if it made sense because I was like testing it just to see how far, like how if the Sheik spaced the F tilt all the way on our shield, like could we still act out of shield, and we could with up air at least.
Yeah, with up air at least. Yeah, exactly. With up air at least you can. Um, yeah, I recommend just doing it with
Yeah, the
Samus.
Samus
Do it with every
downstairs.
character. If you had like a an hour or so to just practice one day, and you're just like, man, just go through every character, every top tier, um, or at least
Yep.
like, or all the ones you normally play against, like Ice Climbers, Samus, Pikachu, Luigi, stuff like that. Try those characters, and then you'll get a better understanding of what you can do, what you can't do, right? And also just practice the muscle memory and the timing of jumping out a shield on those attacks, right? Because they're not all the same, right?
Yeah.
They're all different timing, and so it's more difficult. But once you get an understanding, then you can kind of remember that. And so when you play against these characters again, it's not like you're messing up the timing. Because what this is you're trying to move too quickly with the analog stick before you're actually actionable, or rather like in your jump squat frames, right?
Right.
Because if you're jumping here, it's different. At that point, you're in a position where you can angle and you can actually drift, right? Because that's where you can start to drift, is in your jump squat frames. But you're doing it just a bit too soon, and which is why you're getting your rolls. Ooh, that was a crazy, crazy up air. Yeah, so that's another thing. Similar to like Luigi, unless
Yeah.
unless you're able to like, unless they're half to tech, um, or you're able to throw a move before they're going to be like naring you or fairing you or something like that, because there's no reason not to, right?
Yeah.
If I was here, I probably I probably would have tried to either gentleman or forward tilt or even maybe grab. Um, all that being said, is kind of an awkward situation since you up aired facing away, which
Yeah.
makes which it
Gentlemen.
it terminal gentleman was probably what I would have done,
Yeah.
or forward tilt. Either or would have probably worked unless he like instant nared, which I don't think he didn't do this year. That being said, it's awkward just because again you're facing away. But just remember, when you're close to somebody and they're close enough that you can get a grab, and they're in a situation where they're high enough that they can get hit by either forward tilt or jab. Those are options you can use, and are ones that are often forgot about just because typically you don't get to use them, right? But in combos at least. But against floaties in particular, it comes up much more often than not that these actually are able to be used. So like I don't really know a way of necessarily going about using them better. The way I learned to use them was I played more Ganon, and it forced me to actually use those moves because those are actually good moves that Ganon needs to use, like jab and four tilt, right? Whereas Falcon can kind of get away with it a lot of the time, not necessarily needing to use it, right?
Right.
With all that being said, if a more Falcon specific way of training it, I can't really necessarily say without actually setting up specific combo strings and like Uncle Punch, especially for a situation like this, which is much more unorthodox of a follow up. Again, because you're facing away with the up air. I'll try to maybe think of a way, but in the meantime, if you want to, you could try to play a bit more Ganon, but I don't recommend it. Maybe I do recommend just doing like aerials, and then immediately once you land, doing like a turnaround jab or a forward tilt just to get you used to doing the muscle memory.
Yeah,
Um, like
I work with that as well. Like I do, it's specifically I noticed that like if I do the latest aerial, I can kind of get it. I don't know why, but the latest aerial felt easier for me. I guess because like I'm not like also fast falling like immediately.
yeah,
Where
you're not doing a lot of things in one,
yeah,
like close together. It's easier to time it, I guess.
yeah. What if I do like the any instant aerial into and turn around jab or turn around F tilt? It's like buck up and do like an F smash or something.
Yeah, that's the issue with melee, right? Nothing's buffered, so everything's you have to time it exactly how it's supposed to be. Otherwise, or you do it but you're late, and then you can't get a follow up right.
Right. Like the easiest one for me right now is probably bear jab or bear turnaround jab
Bear
rather.
turnaround jab. That's usually the most useful use of it, I find. Other than like I said in this kind of situation, but again, it's a more unorthodox situation.
Right. And honestly, I honestly really do that like as a as more of a scrapping tool with to keep the opponent in the corner rather than trying to like fight out of the corner. But I mean, it helps. Yeah. Because like when I was fighting Rockman that one day, I was noticing like I because I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm not gonna win any game, but I'm just gonna try to see if I can like work on my defense, I guess. And I realized like when he used it, it was like really good at keeping me in the corner instead of like trying to use it near center stage. So I guess like that's something I noticed that kind of seemed effective.
Yeah, because he understands that you're limited in options when you're in the corner, right? So doing something that's not as true is a little bit easier to get away with it when you're in the corner than when
Mm.
you're in center stage, right? Um, but yeah,
See like that. Look, go back, go back. Look at this. Like he kept doing that the entire time. Like bomb grapple.
well, after he does it, he's forced to do another thing after, right? He does bomb, grapple, bomb. If he does the grapple without anything else, then he's not able to attack you. If he bombs afterwards, then or if he like bombs after the grapple, then he's forced to do something, which means he's put in a situation where he has to nair. So you can just wait. It's really annoying though because like again, it looks like you can attack him here,
Right.
and if you're going to, it's better to go more forward into him. Uh, like right here, you're more in place. If you had like nared past him a bit more or nared more forward, then you would have been in a position where you would have hit him. But the issue was you didn't, and so by the time that your second nair came out, he was already out of position. That being said, when in doubt, don't be afraid to shield because Samus doesn't have a good grab. So you're not really. It's not like, oh man, I whiffed my aerial. I can't shield because I'm gonna get grabbed. It's like just shield. What is Samus really gonna do? He's gonna nair you here. Oh, he's gonna bomb your shield. Oh, he's gonna tap you with jab and forward tilt. Oh, he's gonna F smash you, down smash you, whatever. All of that gets beaten by shield. The only thing they could do is hard read your shield and grab you, in which like only much better Samuses actually end up doing. And even then, like there's a lot of times you can just read that and beat them doing it, right? So don't be afraid to shield against Samus, especially when you're in a situation where you're like, what the fuck just happened, like here, which you did. You shielded. You're like, oh man, I don't know what the hell that happened, and then you didn't wait long enough, and then you got hit by the Nair. Anyways. Again, the instant up airs. See, even when you had like a perfect instant up air, which would have hit him, he was just able to shield it. And able to punish you out of shield because of it.
Oh my god. I couldn't. How do you react to this? Damn. I get, like, this is what I mean. Like, I've been playing, like, really bad. Like, it feels like I've been playing worse because I'm trying to be more mindful with like just how I throw out my moves, but it's so, at least like mid-flight, and it's so hard for me to keep track of that.
I think you're trying to play too reactive a lot of times. Instead of like being like, okay, he's going to be here, I'm going to attack here. You're like, oh, I'm going to wait till he moves and then react to what he does and then attack him. It's like if you're in this situation right here, like this is what I literally got from the situation. You jump back here and it almost looks like you're trying to react to something or get more information instead of throwing out the bear at a good height or an up air at a good height. It almost looks like you're like, okay, I'm going to wait till he's like lowers down and then hit him here. Instead of like seeing that he bombed, knowing that he's probably going to do some bomb shenanigans, which means he's going to be at a higher height, which means you're going to have to throw out a move faster. Not only that, but because he bombed, which you didn't really think about before, because again, like Samus is a matchup probably don't play that much. But once they bomb, they're forced to do something, and more likely than not, they're going to throw out an aerial, which you, like if you're gonna see them bomb, it's like you're gonna have to throw out an aerial here because you already have jumped. Anyways, bringing it all back together, and what I really want to talk about is that looks like you're trying to react too hard instead of throwing out moves and spots where you think are where they're going to be and are going to hit them and be effective either at walling or at least getting into their space. Because this backflip right here, it feels as if you're trying to react. You're like you're too close to react in the first place. You're trying to react to him maybe throwing out something, or I'm not entirely sure, but you're waiting too long and you're basically trying to get too close, and now you're in a position where your move is going to get beaten because Falcon's moves are all too slow, right?
Right.
So how I thought about the situation, I saw this situation right here, and I probably would have narrowed in the same, let's be honest. Instead, you went for an up air, which, again, up air is not going to hit unless they're directly above you, and you know they're going to be above you. You don't have any clue as to, or you have no intel or reason as to why they should be above you here. Like, yeah, you see the bomb, but you also see it moving away from the bomb. And right here, when I saw you shield, I'm like, okay, I'm going to bear here, but I'm going to bear almost immediately out of shield. Because that's when it's the highest, and that's also when I can cover myself better. The closer I jump towards them, the less time I have in order to throw out a move that'll actually contest them coming in or the space behind me, so that I'm safe, right? If you're a Fox, you could have waited as long as you did and you would have been fine, but you don't have that luxury of quick timing, so you have to throw out moves a lot faster and a lot earlier, right? Falcons typically do more instant aerials than we do delayed aerials. We do instant aerials more times than not when we're close, and we do more delayed aerials when we're doing more like approaching from far or trying to hit low, right?
Right.
Because we have to throw out our move before they throw out their move, because all of our moves take more time. Not necessarily against like Samus with like his back air, because I think they probably come out similar frame, but in general, though, when you're in a scrap situation or you're close enough that you can't react, you usually want to throw out your move instant. Now, The difference is when I say you're throwing your move instant, I mean when you're jumping, you throw your move instant. I'm not saying you jump instantly out of acting in a situation and jump instantly. I'm talking about when you do jump, whatever time you choose to jump at, you throw out your move instantly. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay.
Just because you don't, again, we don't have the luxury of time to just wait, jump in the air, and then throw out a move. It's like, okay, he's in my zone. I have to jump now and then drift later. Jump and throw out a move and drift later instead of jump, drift, then throw out a move.
There's gonna be a lot of SDs this game. I just want you to know.
It's gonna be a what?
A lot of SDs this game.
It
Not
happens.
SDs, but stupid overextensions. Yeah. Like what the oh my god.
Do you play when you play? Or do you ever notice yourself playing very tense? Like, are you very? Yeah. No.
Yeah, sort of. I like it's weird. I really most of the time I think my opponents play more tense than me, but at least like Spaceys and Peach. But like only when I'm up close, I guess. Like in the CQC situations, like I'm actually kind of nervous. So I guess like I don't feel that tense, but like if you look at the way I move, yeah, I do move like really stiff and rigid.
Okay. I was just curious. Yeah, that's because you said it yourself. You look like you're stiff and rigid. So I sometimes your physiology or the way your emotions are come out in your gameplay, right? Or just in general. So that's why I asked. Just curious.
I was hella nervous because I was just like, this guy's old. The first game, I was like, this guy's old. Then I got my ass beat, and I was like, what the fuck happened here?
The thing is, it's funny because these old school players they play very old school, and you can typically not run them over, but you can do a lot of things that they might not be expecting just because they're slower or they're not used to you doing that option. But they also have a lot of their own kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally see that ends up working. Weird mix-ups. But the difference is, and you'll notice, is that a lot of times these weird mix-ups, you'll get hit by them, but then they won't lead to a big punish. It's like, oh, I'll get hit by this, like, I'll get hit by this crazy bomb nair, but then it leads to nothing. Oh, I'll get hit by this crazy bomb grapple, but it leads to nothing. Oh, I'll get hit by this, down air, and they try to go for this crazy fair. Oh, but it doesn't lead to anything. And it happens a lot with old school players because it's just the way the game was back then. It's just kind of hit, then move, then hit, then move. Whereas nowadays, it's like, I get a hit, I'm taking this as far as possible. This is like, I get this stomp, I'm grabbing this guy after and reaction tech chasing him to death, or at least to off stage to an edge guard. And that kind of mentality isn't really here with like the old school players. Like right there, he gets a bear and doesn't really lead off with anything else. He doesn't try to like wave dash he does wave dash back, but he doesn't try to. He tries to bomb. You know what I mean? Like why is he bombing there? Right. So old school players are just interesting. Right. So he's still trying to do bomb nair shenanigans. Up air. Again, you're in these instant up airs or these up airs in neutral. Like when they're above you, it's fine. But then you try to do it where he's not on a platform. He's not going to go to a platform because he's Samus. Samus doesn't want to go to a platform. And you're not even in their zone such that the instant up air will hit the head. Really what I'm trying to say is stop using up air. Just don't even use it. Like unless they're literally above you and they're gonna be like they're like at this height above you, don't use up air. Or like you're directly below them and they're on a platform at that moment, don't use up air. Just don't. It's not worth being used. You're just gonna cause yourself to whiff and put yourself in positions where you don't want to be. Like at least at this point in time, it's not leading to anything. Combos. Still use them in combos. Don't get me wrong. Just in neutral itself, don't use it. Okay, so the two options Samus has to really approach you are the full hop approaching nair and dash attack. If they're playing grounded and they are going to approach you, they're going to be using dash attack, which means that a lot of the times this can give you, unless they hit you, and even then, if they hit you, it gives you time to do something after it. Either get into a better position right here, like instead of rolling here, you probably could have kneed a shield, or at least empty hop, or like not empty hop, but like just jump in place in aerial or something. Same with this dash attack right here. You probably could have even come in and if you were just right, you probably could have grabbed, but that's much more difficult. Like a whiff punish grab on dash attack, I don't recommend that. Instead, you could have done, like a run up and like need their defensive option. Because more likely not, they're going to shield or they're going to spot dodge. Because in this situation, they dash attack and you're close enough to punish them instead of doing a nair in the corner, which again it definitely was a tech skill mistake. You could easily have kneed them, kind of like almost like doing like a Rockman knee on an up tilt, or not even an up tilt, but doing like a knee on like a spot dodge or a shield, like from that a Spacey would do on wake up. Like you're tech chasing them and they do the shield wake up. Same thing kind of knee applies on dash attack. They whiff a dash attack, you can kind of do the same knee as long as you're in the right position, which you were, and you could at least pressure them and cause them to maybe up B out a shield and then punish that up B out a shield. Or you could have gotten a hit, and then in which case you could potentially get a combo. Or at least just get that knee hit, right? If Samus is forward tilting you here, you can just nair to shield it. Get closer, nair, and shield die in, nair to shield.
All right. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention like the Sheik F tilt shit. It was I forgot. Yeah, you got to shield like all of it.
Yep. Right. Shield DI in. Maybe not forward tilt as far away as there. You rolled and then you did a stomp, which is again, I don't know why he F smashed you there. It should have been like an up B at a shield if any other Samus would up B at a shield there. That being said, you got a nice stomp up there. You're trying to shark him, which is good. That's what you should be doing, right? They're bad. Their floaties are trying to get down. You shark. I saw you try to do. you fast fell just a bit too soon. But then you jumped immediately away. Now you're in center stage. Look how far away you are.
I don't know what this character does from the ledge.
So from the ledge, Samus will do a aerial interrupt, no impact land, or an aerial. Those like the main things they'll do. Most are going to do like good Samuses will do aerial interrupt. Better Samuses will do the no impact land. Like I know Dope and Morse Code do that a lot. But the better Samuses better Samuses on the ledge, like Pleasantries, they'll do aerial interrupt every single time. Now, what they'll do out of aerial interrupt is they'll do a down smash if you're close, or they'll shield if you're just far enough away and you're going to be aggressing the area, or they're going to nair at you. But the main option to get off of ledge is going to be aerial interrupt or a no impact land onto stage. He's an old school Samus, so more likely than not, he's going to fare off ledge.
You do a lot of, I don't know. I felt like he was trying to bait me. So you would do like a shield from ledge, and I'm thinking like, all right, the next one is gonna be like a down smash or some shit. I was not like, I'm not trying to get clipped, basically.
Mm.
That's like honestly the perspective that I was playing with, or like I was playing this because I was like, oh shit, I'm on stream.
Well, I understand why you're having that thought. You're like, oh shit, I'm on stream. I gotta make sure I don't get fucked. And that in itself is what causes you to get fucked. That idea of like, oh no, I'm gonna get clipped. I hope I don't get clipped, is now forcing you to play a way so that you don't get clips. You're not actually trying to play melee. You're trying to not get clipped. That mentality is like it's pretty bad. And I was talking to, I think it was Stude the other day on a way to better try to catch those thoughts. And there's
Right.
something called a cognitive therapy or cognitive science called the three C's. It's like catch. I think I sent it to him. Let me double check what it was. It was called the three C's of cognitive therapy: catch, check, and change. And I sent him some link, which again, I don't know. The link itself isn't necessarily important. It's more so the theory, and you can look into it on your own time. But the idea behind it is to help you to catch thoughts like that, where you're like, oh no, I don't want to get clipped, and then try to check it so you can reflect on how accurate it actually is, and then change it. This usually applies more so to like you giving yourself a false perspective on what's actually happening, but can also help you change the kind of thoughts that you had, like you had here, where you were like, oh no, I don't want to get clipped. And instead of, thinking about that, be like, no, let's focus on playing good melee, right? Let's focus on melee. And you might not necessarily actually start playing good melee, but at least your mindset, your ideology will be in the right headspace. So you won't be playing to not get clipped. You'll at least be, trying to play good melee. So I recommend on your own time to check that out and try to maybe apply it. It's very difficult too, because we have thousands of thoughts every single day, right? Some
Right.
consciously, some kind of subconsciously, where we're half thinking about it or like autopiloting through it. So what I recommended to Stude was, I said, try to set up a time every day if you can, or at least some time to like meditate. And I find that helps you get more into the idea of understanding your thoughts, because a lot of meditation is calming yourself, and then you can either reflect on things, or you can just focus solely on the physiology of yourself and how you're operating, and it really helps you kind of come into tune of where your headspace is really. So I recommend that if you want to. Otherwise, I mean, it's all up to you if you want to check it out or not. But I do recommend it, and it helped me out a lot too. When I used to employ it a lot earlier on.
The it's part of the reason I like stopped. I went all the way over there. It like the frame rate just dropped to
Oh, drop
4.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
that also makes sense. Anytime you whiff an aerial and you're in somebody's space, unless you have the ability to run away, you pretty much have to shield.
Okay.
Unless of course, for whatever reason, they're not going to throw something out, or crouch cancel. In this case, you can't crouch cancel it, but pretty much you have to do a defensive option. You can't just wave dash into their face, expecting to be able to act after it and not be hit by something. So keep that in mind. It's like, oh, I whiff an aerial right here, I'm gonna have to shield. I can't dash in. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. There's no, in no world you're not gonna get hit here by a good player. Yeah, that was a crazy grapple. You could have air dodged here. You could have done a lot, but honestly, at this point, I would have went low just because he's all the way up here, and Samus doesn't have a quick enough way to get down and cover everything, right? That being said, though, this Nair could have also hit you going low, but you would have had a better chance of living because you would have been able to tech it, whereas here, now you're dead. Don't be afraid to go low sometimes. Or at least, don't be afraid to just go all the way on stage either. You'll be surprised by how often people will miss things that seem like, oh, I'm just going into their zone, I should be hit. But in actuality, you just give him more time to set up what he actually wanted to do.
Oh. And then I like dire.
So the other option, which I didn't decide to talk about, but then I forgot that we're playing against an older school style Samus, is neutral get up from ledge. So the option that Samus used to do before they used to early interrupt or no impact land or even ledge dash is neutral get up. So that's also something in this case that you have to be looking out for. It's similar to ledge trapping like Peach that I think I think Rockman talked about in one of his thicks the other day. But essentially, you can pretty much react to anything they do off ledge if they end up choosing a neutral getup. In which case, more likely than not, he's going to be either doing a neutral getup now or an aerial off of ledge. In which case, you can punish all of that. It looked like you tried to stomp the timing for. Well, I don't actually know if you were trying to do this, but this would have probably have caught the timing for neutral getup from ledge below 100. But the fact that he was above 100 made it so that you whiffed because it was slower off ledge, which sucks. That being said, though, if you need help punishing Samus off ledge, again, look at what the pros are doing. If we go YouTube, Wizrobe versus Samus.
I think he only has like a super set from Owner Rumble, the big one.
He has, yeah, more recently, but you could even look at one from 5 years ago and you'll still get a decent idea. I'm going to do one from this year, though, just because. Yeah, the super one. Where is it? He doesn't have many. Wow.
Yeah. He played, like, all I know is that he's the only Samus mains I see in bracket are Wevins, at least on the East Coast brackets, are like Wevins, Morris Code, and Swooper. I don't see Dope in bracket that much.
Yeah, he's usually working or just Canadian internet, you know. But yeah, here, right here. See, so either aerial off ledge. Let's try and get another time when he's on ledge. Now we're buffering. I swear these videos that people don't watch often take longer to buffer a lot of the times.
Maybe
Another aerial. So it really depends on how the Samus likes to operate. If they're close, they might like to aerial. If you're further away, they'll probably do something that's safer, like an aerial interrupt or something like that. Let's see, what does he do again? So here he tried to do, it looked like a ledge dash, and then he messed up. Or he tried to do an aerial interrupt, or he actually really opted to do this air dodge here, which is, I don't know if that's a good option to do with Samus, but the main idea, though, is that they're going to do an aerial, or they're going to do a no-impact land, or an aerial interrupt. Those are the main ones. And then the older Samuses will do more like neutral get-up, like Wes does.
Why would he go for the stomp there?
Why not? In Wizzy's mind, it's a why not. He's like, okay, if I get hit by, the only thing that can really do anything that's real damage of me is like a forward smash. If he goes for a dash attack, he goes for a nair, he's fine. And the thing is that Samus is less likely to narrow out a corner here than they are to dash and try to take center, or dash and try and dash attack you. So what Wizzy's doing here, he's like, oh, I'll just stomp to cover hopefully both, which more likely than not, it would have traded with the dash attack. So in his mind, he's like, I'm just going to stomp here to cover space. And so he does that. That's literally his idea. I'm gonna cover Samus coming in, and stomp just feels right. And so he does it. Dash attack probably would have hit him, but point is that he just felt like covering space, and he probably, I guess he had a read on Super 1 to dash in, and so he stomped. That's all the information I can really give. I don't really know what else it would have been. Try and find another Samus on ledge moment.
Oh.
There wasn't many.
Damn.
Or a roll. I think, I feel like he rolled here just because he wasn't confident. And then, yeah, because you really shouldn't be rolling here as Samus. It's not what you want to be doing.
I guess my question with like what he did with the stomp back in the Battlefield game was like if he wanted to get a move, I thought he would do bear instead of stomp.
Sometimes
But
stomp's easier to hit because it hits more below you, right?
right,
Bear's great if you know they're going to come in with an aerial. But if you don't know if they're going to come in with the aerial and you think they're just going to be running underneath you or into you, stomp is easier to hit. Um, it's also just sometimes you just feel like you want to stomp and it just works. There's not really a reason behind it. A bear too doesn't last the same way that a stomp does. Like stomp feels like it's out for longer. I don't know. I don't think it is, but it definitely feels like I get like here. Let's put it like this: if you're in that position, if you feel like you're going to trade, stomp is better if you have the time to put it out because it has an easier time of trading. And even then, if you do hit, you're in a position where more likely than not, you're not going to be punished for it. Whereas a bear, a lot of times you trade and you might not necessarily be in a good position and they might be able to punish you for it. That being said, stomp just, again, bring it back. Stomp is just easier to hit when they're underneath you and you're not sure if they're going to be at the right height that bear is going to be. It's as simple as that. Or you're going to bear and then they're two inside of you and it doesn't hit the same way. In his mind, as far as I know, Wizzy just did it because he felt like he was going to run through him. That's the only thing. That's the only read I can get from it. He might have had some other grandiose idea, but I don't think so.
I didn't do that nearly as much. The chop up air.
They'll chop up airs. Yeah, it can be good sometimes. He tries to get a knee off of it. So yeah, he's daring at him now that he's a higher percent.
Yep.
Sharking when he's above him. Right?
Nice.
Full hop nair, right? But he's attacking where he's going to be or even where he was, like even further than he's going to be, right? Wizzy's like, okay, he's on the platform. I'm going to try and contest this area right here. And he's not moving further away, so it should be it's a good idea to hit that area, right?
Mm.
And he also nairs such that he hits where right here. He hits where he's going to be, and also potentially if Samus had time to run here, he's also gonna hit underneath the platform. He's hitting like here, all the way center stage to all the way here. That's why drift is so good with Falcon. Especially in these kind of matchups because you can hit so much area. So if Samus or some floaty doesn't have time to move away, they're just gonna get hit if they can't shield. Hop tilt, true.
There is no edge guarding this character. Oh.
Wizzy actually just messed up.
Yeah.
He neutral get up because he thought he wasn't gonna drift on the stage.
Getting grabbed by Samus. Oh. It just feels bad.
It feels bad, but you also have to understand it doesn't happen too often.
I don't know why he went for an up throw. But he could have still gotten another down throw for that distance at least. Yeah.
Should probably find a different set because there we go. I finally got on ledge and did something off ledge. Right here. There you go. The aerial interrupt. That's and then nair. See, aerial interrupt, nair out. Like I said. In which case, Wizzy just literally waits just underneath right here and punishes.
Have you played Swooper like in bracket?
I've never played him in bracket. No, I would have if I entered more things.
Are you just not feeling melee? Like competing at least?
Pretty much. It's a large time commitment in a lot of my like tournaments, and like I enjoy competing, but at the same time, all I can do right now is compete online. I'll probably go to majors still just because those are a lot of fun, but like competing in online in general is not as enjoyable when you live in a place where you don't have good internet.
That's true.
Whoops. Come on, Super. Give me another time when you're on ledge. He keeps double jumping on stage. He keeps rolling too, which I feel like he is opting to roll when he doesn't have enough invincibility and he sees Wizzy coming in. But like coming in to contest him, coming off with like something. But typically, Samuses are going to go for things that are a little bit more safe. Or not safe, but
Oh,
oh, this is Marth. What the heck?
wait, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh, Samus. There you go, Samus eventually.
Oh, brother, why?
It's funny because Duck actually switched to Marth again recently.
I know.
It's funny.
Great.
Come on, show me Samus on ledge. There we go. Again, so he's in a space and he knows he can punish. They'll go for an aerial, right?
Right.
So we know that. Let's see if we can get another situation. See, so instead of like being able to attack, they'll do aerial interrupt if they're good enough. Which he does. Yeah, I saw the. Whoops, I went back by accident. Which he, you can see by a C-stick that it is an aerial interrupt, in fact. Right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, you see, so it's an aerial interrupt. In which case, you can still punish it or try to punish it with the stomp. You're probably not going to hit them because they're going to be invincible, more likely than not. But at least you can apply pressure in a way that doesn't let them out for free. And again, what does Samus have? Samus has, after you shield, some jabs. So, and what do you do? He just full hops out to center stage. Samus literally has nothing to contest properly. It's not like a Spacey or even like a puff where you could grab effectively. It's like you literally Samus has nothing because Samus doesn't have anything that effectively beats shield, and doesn't even have anything that really pokes as well as like say like a Marth down tilt or something like that, right?
I have to do like a walk in between each jab, or is it?
No. So what? If you'll notice, I think Duck does this. Duck is presses down every time he jabs.
As he's jabbing?
So after you jab, so you can do the same thing with Falcon. So you jab, presses down, jab, presses down, jab, presses down, jab, presses down. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to jab without going into the second jab. Some people will have notches so that they can do crouch jabbing. Which allows you to hold back at a certain angle, like down and back, and allows you to jab without going, like you can do it without having to press down every single time. But what this does is it allows you to jab sooner without going into the second jab. And that's like the only thing Samus really has to pressuring Falcon on shield. In which case, again, Wizzy just jumps out. So don't be afraid to shield against Samus, because a lot of times they'll be doing these jab pressure or they'll try to hit you with a harder hitting move or whatever. And most time you're just able to just jump out or roll or even aerial out of shield depending on what option they choose to do. And again, look, you get upbeat and like what he gets like 7%. Yeah, it was 7%. Doesn't actually get any other follow-up off of it. And Falcon has sometimes the ability to move out faster and actually punish Samus. I love Duck's reactions. But again, I'm watching this right now because it's easier for me to show you these concepts from watching another player than trying to show you what you could have done differently during your own gameplay. Because,
or at least you gotta like pick up where the mistakes are from, and then you're demonstrating or showing a demonstration of what
you could do instead, right? But yeah, you'll see. Look, he's just holding shield. He's like, I don't care. pretty much like just waiting for Duck to do something because he can.
All right, and then he got blown up.
He
For
got blown
that.
up for that nair. See, there you go. Because in Wizzy's mind, he's like, oh, I got like a slide off here. It looks like he got a tech slide off. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna nair in, and Duck's like, nope, up tilt, right? And even then, he's ready for the tech. Because Wizzy's thinking, oh, I got a defensive mix-up for him. You know, like a level 2 mix-up or whatever. Like, I'm going to nair in, and then I'm going to tech down if he up-tilts me. And then Duck's like, all right, I'm just going to down-tilt you.
Sets up the edge guard.
Yep. Sets
Oh, shit.
amazing DI. And then here's where Wizzy's going to live because he DI'd so hard in. What? And Duck's like, okay, I'm going to try and make it so he doesn't get his jump back. But in actuality, what he doesn't understand is that he set up Wizzy to be able to easily get back to stage like super close. He actually gave him like a few mix up. He gives him the ability to go to ledge, like or go to top platform, or weave back and actually go to ledge. In which case, Wizzy decides to go the opposite route. So
Where do you aim? Part of Falcon's body do you aim to set up the edge cancel front facing?
where do you aim for? Say that again. Like,
Well, you know how like you aim. Okay, like you know how like you aim for an edge cancel stomp or like a reverse bear. Like you aim reverse bear by using Falcon's armpit. I aim my edge cancel stomps by using Falcon's butt. But like center mass. But like, where do you aim with the upbeat?
I aim. I haven't actually thought about that.
I just try to use visual markers because it's like consistent.
Uh, I'd say aim for the shin.
Okay.
I think that's. I'm trying to think. I think that's the right area. Like right, not directly in the middle of the shin, but just below the kneecap, just where the gold starts to happen, and maybe it just a bit below, lower than that. Because you want to aim for the feet. Yeah. You want to aim. You want to aim about right where the basically where the thigh line is. You see where this thigh line is?
Yeah.
Let me try and find it wider. Right here. See where this is? Kind of aim right there. Because that's basically where you're going to be, where your center is going to be when you land. Right? If we go one frame before, right here, and then one more. See, that's where your center is. See? Where the thigh line is, and then you land, and that's where you're sent. That's where you would be edge canceling. Does that make sense?
No, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I like. I've been meaning to practice this for a minute. Like the moment I played Rockman, I should have done it after I played you because you definitely did that to me a couple of times where you did edge cancel upbeat, like while facing towards ledge, or rather, like going toward recovering towards ledge, and I was like, I don't know. You just in the back of your mind, I'm like, there's no way this guy's gonna hit it, and then they hit it,
And then we hit it. Yeah, because the thing is, the only reason I started ever being able to do it was I just started trying to do it, right? With anything,
Right.
I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it until I started understanding, oh, that's how that works. And even now, I still mess it up sometimes, right?
Right.
But yeah, I actually never really thought about the actual like visual cue, and this actually works perfectly if you look kind of where his this thigh line is, or right there, right? Because that's where the center of Falcon's going to be, and that's where you have to basically cancel it or basically hit to edge cancel it, right? So yeah, that's basically right. I guess you could say even the butt more so.
Yeah, like low key, like Falcon's butt is where I aim most of his stuff.
Yeah, literally, his butt is because that's where his center is going to be, right? Like his butt is right here. Go on more, and that's where the center is, right? Right down the middle, right where the butt is. So yeah, the butt I guess is probably a better idea. It's more easily to identify than like a thigh line or like the middle of his calf, right? Looking at his butt, you're like, okay, there's his butt. There you go. No homo. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's the easiest way to space the edge cancel, so to speak.
And like I just recently also been trying to do a more no fastball up airs for the at least like when I get a combo started on Samus. Like rising
Right here.
falling up air is like yeah, like when he does it, Wizzy does it, like it's kind of money. Like that's pretty.
Right there, yeah. Or like the
Yeah.
yeah. That's more so just an instant full hop up air. Yeah, because then he immediately fast falls after he gets the hit. In which case he could force an option from Samus. But you see how when he bared, what you would have when this happened to you, you would have been jumping, 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 you know, and you wouldn't have even thrown out the bear yet. But in Wizzy's mind, he throws at an instant bear.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that because Samus is in your face, I'm instant bear because by the time your move comes out, then that's when you actually like that's when you need to hit. Whereas like you're doing it where you're like, oh, I need to hit here, then I throw out my move, instead of throwing at a move and then being like, okay, this is where I have to hit. Your timing or your understanding of Falcon's speed is misrepresented or it's not in line with what it actually is, if that makes any sense. That's the nicest way I can put it. Which is fine because again, I was the same way before too. It's like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna move in and then hit, and it's like no, you have to throw to move and then move. It's not move and then hit. It's hit then move, essentially, or throw out move then move instead of move and then throw out move. Right again, ducks on ledge. Decides to go for no impact land, and they'll shield, right? Like I said, they'll shield if they're in a position where they can't like aggress. But if Wizzy hadn't double jumped after the bear, like if he had just shielded here, he would have been fine. And if he hadn't jumped again here, he would have been also fine, right? So it's the panic option that got him. Bear shield. And Wizzy nowadays would have shielded here because he's like, I'm on platform, I'm fine. See? That's basically all Samus has. It's like aerial interrupt, and then what if they feel like they're gonna hit you, then they'll down smash. Otherwise, they'll shield. And then what do they have? They have jabs.
Oh shit.
But yeah, at 0, it doesn't have anything. As long as you don't tech on a platform, they literally have like a nair or maybe a down smash, which doesn't even lead you to go to like a teching situation.
All right. Living supposedly. Maybe.
Let me look at this again. So nair's in. See that knee? That's the knee kind of knee I'm talking about from before, where you're in their space. He does the nair first because he's trying to break the missile. He knows that he doesn't have time. And nair's really probably your best option to break missile. And he sees the forward tilt. He's like, I'm going to knee. Because if he throws another forward tilt, we'll trade at worst. And then his issue is when he tried to go for a nair again, and that's where duck, wave dash in, held down, and down smashed. Whereas if Wizzy just spammed knee again, he would have been fine. Spam knee again. Like it's like watch one person who's really good against dealing with Samus and Shield. Watch Westballs as Falcon. Westball's Falcon, unironically, actually back in the day had really good like space or really good pressure against Samus in Shield. Like unironically. And there's quite a lot of sets of him playing Falcon versus Samus because he didn't really like Falco Samus at a time. But you see how he's only doing up air when he's strictly above him. Even then, he did nair here. But he did up air there, you know. And then once he realizes he's going to get down, he does nair.
I keep trying to go for the greedy like instant up air on a tall character like Samus. Like I do that to Ganon. I do that to Falcon. Well, I don't know if I really do it to Falcon. I kind of just get away with it because Falcon.
Jumps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Falcon is one of the one characters where instant up air neutral is actually really good because he jumps so much, and the Falcon Ditto specifically, you kind of need that timing mix up that Nair doesn't always give, right?
Right. And then I do it versus like Falco's in the corner, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially if the Falco likes to fight out of the corner. And I know I know one thing I like to do is like if I do like a late neon shield, if they're in holding shield in the corner, then I'll do instant up air. Kind of similar to how you said like if you do come at the Samus with like a nair or an up air, like you're already in the wrong position. You need to immediately get that back air out instead of just like kind of jumping and trying to react to where they're gonna be.
Exactly.
Instead, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I gotta stop playing Falcon. Oh shit, that's like
You
a
stop
little
playing
bit.
what? You cut out there. Sorry.
Said I have to stop playing so many Falcos.
Yeah.
There's just
There's so
there's
many though on unranked, right?
yeah, there's just so many opportunities where I'm like, damn, the up air is like actually insane. Oh no! Oh no! He went
Oh,
though. Never mind.
somehow Wizzy's gonna win this. Yeah.
Yeah,
The pop up. Oh, that's the GGs too. I didn't even realize it's game 5.
it's just so out of character. That's why.
It is very out of
Whoa.
character. He's so
He's just
stoic
like
otherwise.
yeah. He just never presents himself as an emotive person.
He's
That
not. He's not in person. I can say that for a fact. He's not typically.
like the what is that one? There's like the Yahoo tournament, Yahoo rival, something like that. Oh my gosh,
Was it Yahoo Rivals?
dude! Grand finals, him versus yeah that shit. The it was one of the sets because I know he took I think it had to have been the reset because that's when he popped. I just remember him like slamming the fucking stand. It looked like a fucking podium, and he's just like, first of all, he said like I remember him telling remember him saying on stream like after I did that my hand was like actually kind of in pain.
Yeah, he smacked it, dude.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four, 4 smacks, dude. Like as hard as he could, too.
Look at HBox though, just like nodding like yeah, all right.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, yeah.
It's like nodding like all right.
Oh my god, this is almost 5 years ago now. That's crazy to think about.
I
That's
just remember that one because that was the first. I swear that had to have been like the first pop up I've ever seen from this person.
that was one of the first I saw for sure. I think besides the duck set.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's funny.
God damn.
It's actually so crazy. All right, let me go like that. Hopefully that was. Let me see. Was that? Yeah, that was. Okay, good. Where was I? We were watching your set or your games rather. Oh,
Yeah.
change screen.
Hold it. Let me grab some water.
Sure.
Oh. All right.
You back?
Yep.
All right. All right, now that we have kind of a better understanding of some things to do, I'm not going to stop too much. We're just going to let things play because we have like 4 more games, right?
Shit, yeah. Oh, this game was actually. I think this was the quickest one.
Yeah, it appears to be a lot of the times you're trying to run into a space and then throw an aerial instead of getting a little bit closer than throwing in an aerial. It's either you're already in hit, like you run towards him and you're in his space, you throw an aerial, or you're not even close to him at all and then you throw an aerial. It's never like you kind of get somewhat close and then throw an aerial, you know, or at least try to throw an aerial and then drift forward, right?
Okay.
Again, it's up airs. Slow on the throw. Even then, I don't think you would have been able to get it. Yeah, nice jump out there, Reed. That's good. The weight. Yeah.
Like, look at that! Like, what?
A lot of the time, you can just nair in at this. Like right here, you can nair in here. You can nair in after that because the grapple's not going to hit you, right? And even if it does, you could just shield after because he's going to nair or not. Essentially, you're in his zone, he's going to nair you. If you're not in his zone, he's gonna missile out of it, right? And remember, you don't be afraid to use the platforms. You keep trying to like directly approach him like head on instead of like using top platform or or using side platform to approach or anything. You're just trying to head on him the entire time.
Yeah, I like remember that. It was the Lead Lord set with NMW, and you were like, look at the way he did like a nice, like it did a double jump waveland into back air,
Mm-hmm.
and it like caught him. It basically spooked NMW just enough to get him an opening.
Yep, exactly. People also, even the people who are the least likely to actually play the game and actually want to be in, like actually be confrontational, will have lapses of like, will have moments where they'll just like attack you in like a very uncharacteristic way because you're on a platform. And they're like, "Oh, he's on a platform. I can hit him." And it's weird how that works. The platforms almost like not force people to attack you, but they kind of encourage them to attack you a lot of the times. So I recommend using platforms just because not only does it help you set up for things, like you can kind of get a different angle, but it also sometimes causes people to just attack you out of the blue. And you're like, oh, now I have, a reversal opportunity. And Falcon's amazing at getting reversals off of platforms. But really, what it comes down to is it gives you more ability to actually approach without being predictable, right? Because look, you keep having to like go on them head on, which is like it's difficult because there's only so many different mix-ups you can have, right?
Fucking nailed like 3 times.
Ooh, miss L cancel.
Ugh.
But again, it's like certain tech flubs, like the L cancel rate, like so right here you had just roll or jump out like Wizzy did, right? You held
Right.
so long that he did get the grab.
I think shit. I was like, because I remember I ran into a pretty good Samus, and they would like constantly do that jab pressure on my shield, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to contest that. Like my whole what I wanted to do, not in that well, like I wanted to, but I was at the wrong percent. It was just like hold down and grab, but I don't think you can do that past like 70 something.
Yeah, pretty much. Or the single jab, I think you can for a while actually, but it's easier to just roll or jump out of shield, you know?
Right.
Like what Wizzy did. There wasn't a single time when Wizzy actually tried to directly punish it in that set we watched versus Duck. That being said, we weren't watching for that specifically. We were watching more so for the things that Duck was doing off of ledge. But even then, though, the idea was just get out of there. Run up, grab. I like this. You're waiting. He tried to do aerial interrupt with the up air and messed up. Now you're spamming grab too much.
I spam so much grab because I'm just like, all right, if you're gonna hold down, I'm just gonna.
You also unnecessarily wave dash a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, that. Oh my god, I'm like,
Like
I don't know.
I
I'm trying to
you just I don't know.
play.
No, just either. I don't know. This is harder to say. I don't know because I've never had this issue. I just stopped wave dashing entirely unless it was for grabbing ledge or doing it at a shield or like getting closer to them like as Gannett or something. Besides that, I just literally don't. I just don't wave dash. I'm not wave dashing. But if you already have that bad habit, I would just say is just stop wave dashing at all. Just straight up, just stop, just go on a ranked, just don't wave dash at all.
Okay.
Even trying to grab ledge, just don't wave dash, and then eventually you'll just stop wave dashing unnecessarily. Like anything I've said before, the easiest way to do is just completely cut it cold turkey and then practice playing in that state, right? Because we're habitual creatures, our nature, as you know, as nature has it, we have habits and we play to those habits. The only way to break them is to completely stop those habits and try and replace them with other things, which thankfully happens naturally in a game like Melee. As long as you restrict yourself to do so. That's the only unnatural, like that's the only thing you have to do is you have to restrict yourself, and then naturally things will take its place. At least usually they do. I can't say for all the time. I like this though. Here you're holding center, and you're double jumping back, and you're waiting, right, and you're waiting for him, and then you're like, okay, he's not coming in. I'm just gonna dash and grab, and that was actually really good. I actually really liked this. Because you're just waiting, and then you're like, okay, he's not going to come in. He keeps wave dashing back, so I'm just going to go for the unreactable dash and grab.
I didn't feel confident with the up air.
Yeah, that's fine. Right there, you could have gotten it. You're just a bit slow. It's hard. Don't beat yourself up. I usually do up throw instead, just because it's very difficult.
Oh my god, I keep fucking forgetting that. Oh my god, I was playing it the other day in a Luigi as well, and I was like, why am I not getting this?
Luigi should always down throw it. You shouldn't up throw really versus Luigi, but Samus you can get away with it. Okay. Even Peach you can get away with it. Peach is actually optimal flowchart with up throw on FD. See, he neutral get ups. So you'll notice he doesn't do. He tried to at one point, but he's like, screw it. I'm just gonna neutral get up, and that's probably more so because you're not contesting him, right? He's like, oh, he's not even close to me. I'm just gonna neutral get up. Whereas like even good players will do the no impact land here even if you're not close, just in case, because you have that extra, invincibility in case you actually do need it. But he's old school enough where he's like, I don't need it. Screw it. I'm not gonna do it. But then he did it because you got closer, right? You weren't close, and then now you're close, and now he's scared. And even though you're not close here, he was still like scared, so he did it, right? Or he did it there, rather. Sorry. Yeah, he did it here. So he did it not there, but he did it here because you're close. But then he did do it there, I guess maybe because he's practicing. I don't actually know because you're not contesting him. But he's old enough that he's not going to do it actively because he thinks he can get away with it, so he's going to do neutral get up until he gets lazy or bored or whatever, and he starts doing it. That's basically the only thing I can get from that. That being said, it's better when you're close, like you were, and you were trying to contest them, even though these might not be amazing, execution tests. It's better than you standing at center stage and doing nothing. You don't want to give them too much space. Like any character, when they're on ledge, you don't want to. If you have the ability to set it up, you don't want to give them too much space because you don't need to. Not as Falcon, at least. But always try to make it so that if you can't actively execution test them directly, at least make it so that you could potentially cover an option they do preemptively out of the corner. We're not going to talk about that nair.
Just fun. Oh my god, like the fear of God, just
Oh no, and then you get grabbed by that. Now you're super shook. You're side being.
get him off me, get him off.
Yeah.
Alright.
Good nair, and then he
Oh my god, I outplayed
he
that.
like
That jab was just autopilot as hell.
yeah. Well, he actually did a really good wave dash at a shield, and then held down because of it, and then was able to get an F smash. That was just a weird thing, actually. Um, that was just an awkward situation. Yeah, wave dash. The thing is, you also don't really want to do jab on Samus unless you're spaced so that you don't get like upbeat at a shield. Like it's better to do it when you're facing on them and you have like a really nicely spaced knee, like Wizzy, like I showed with Wizzy on that FOD game. for tilt, true. It's interesting because you like to play closer to the edge when they're on the right side, but when they're on the left side, you get more scared. Like right
On the
here,
left, I'm more scared.
yeah, it looks like it. Like right here, you look like you're way more in their face on the right side than you are on the left side. You've been doing like edge cancel bear and stuff when they're in the corner. Like you're playing in the zone a lot more than you were on the left side. I don't know if that's because you kind of got annoyed, but I noticed that the game before too on Battlefield.
I've shit. Yeah, I think you're right. I have a lot of this edge cancel stuff. I can do it really well on the right. Not really well, but like
Better than the left side.
do it on the right and then on the left.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did notice that on the Battlefield game as well, though. So it is something you tend to do. But yeah, use the up throw. That way you can get maybe an up air. Like it's easier to get an up air off the jump out than it is to get it on down throw.
Okay.
And you also remove the ability to like trade as easily or them to outright beat you if you're late.
So I always I don't opt for. I remember I was doing this with like fucking all the other characters, like all the mid tiers as well, like Link and I guess like I do it with Ganon because that shit is just kind of free.
Oh, it's free. No, yeah, Ganon. But his down throw is just different, right?
Yeah. Like he kind of just dies, but so does Samus. But
Yeah.
oh my god! Like right here, I was literally like, okay. See this entire like little thing. I was just like, he wants me to go for something stupid, and I'm just not gonna give it to him.
Which is fine. It is fine to do that, but it's better to at least pressure them a little bit. Like you going for these dash in grabs, they're not good. You're gonna get down smash for this. Like it's good if you know they're gonna shield, but like if you do this as your go-to option all the time, you're going to get punished for it badly. Right? Because he keeps doing it where he shields, so you're like, okay, I'm just gonna grab him. But like they're not always gonna do that. The really good ones are going to down smash you or nair you or whatever, right? But yeah, see, like this up air's like it's not a bad up air, but you also didn't get anything off of it, right? As much as you could have if you gotten like a nair or a grab. But it's like a defensive up air where it's like good if you know that it's gonna catch them, right? That's like the only time I'd say would be to do like an up air here. It's like you're close enough that it's going to hit, and it's fast enough that like you want to have a fast hitbox and be safe at the same time. This is where like an instant up air is good, like in neutral at least. But doing approaching instant up air, no. Yeah, see now, so instead of like even trying to just stomp him and get like a cheeky stomp or whatever, you're just like, screw it, I'm just gonna wait. And in my mind, I'm like, man, my ADHD, even though I don't have it, my ADHD is going off the charts here. I'm looking at this and I'm like, God damn, like, give me something more.
Oh, that could have been another up air after that.
Yeah, definitely. Could have even been a knee. Actually, literally could have been a knee. This is a nair. Let me see again.
And do a wave dash
Yep,
instead.
that's a knee 100%. And you do a wave dash, and then you dash back, and then you dash in, and then you dash back, and then you dash in, and now you're basically center stage. And then you get hit by grapple, and you try to go for your grab because that's your comfort option.
This game is pretty fucking long. I'm just gonna be honest. It goes down last hit, last stock.
Yeah, I'll go one more stock and see if there's anything else we can get from this.
I swear to God, it's literally a repeat of this like 40 fucking times.
All right, well then we'll go on the next one. Go to the Pokemon Stadium one.
Actually, that part of the reason why I hate that stage. Holy shit, it's so boring.
It's very boring. Yeah, that stage is. I don't like FD. Even these even these nairs you're doing here, even though they're not doing much, I'd rather you do this than do nothing a lot of the time. Just on the off chance you'll catch them off guard. Because then your standstill, if you choose to do a standstill later, will have more meaning. But even then, it's almost always better to just be contesting or execution testing if you can, than it is to be standing still ever if they're coming off a ledge. Almost always. You're not like Fox where you can like wait and then run up smash. You don't really have that. You have wait and run up grab. You know what I mean? And the issue is up smash comes out on the same frame that grab would, but it has way more range and also has the pressure of killing, whereas grab doesn't necessarily have the pressure of killing against Samus. Right? Like, see this, that is what I want to see. Exactly that. Exactly that. You know, and then he has to hard read you coming on, in which case now you're like, oh, he's capable of doing that, but that only happened because your bear that you missed right here, you didn't go far enough in. Right?
Right.
And then you try to do it again, which is why, again, this is why Wizzy does like a stomp here. Because stomp, I mean, you jumped when you shouldn't have jumped, but stomp sometimes can catch it if you had like jumped already. And it's just it sometimes it's just better or if he like ran into you, right?
Right.
That being said, that all happened because you empty hopped here instead of doing another bear, or like if you did a stomp in place there and then drifted in slightly, you would have caught him. Or even if you didn't, you would have still probably hit him and probably traded, but at least you would have hit him. But yeah, this kind of stuff. The bear, the early bears there, right there. That one. Again, that wave dash, don't need it. Right here. Why are you wave dashing? The nair in, which not a great there, but you still catch him. And now, for whatever reason, you had a knockdown situation. Instead of aggressing, you're like, oh, I'm just going to wait back. It's almost like you're not able to, like, you're not reacting to the fact that he missed tech, you know? Like right here. Right here. You're not reacting to him missing tech. And so you're confused on what to do. And then it's only until now that you realize that he mistech'd and he's already neutral gettoping, in which case you're not prepared to punish what's going to happen. So that's why you go backwards, right? That's why you're like, oh, I'm going to move back and then, you know, nair in place. In which case, he's just going to slowly walk up and down smash you. Because you're just nairing in place. Again, you fast falling too soon on the nair. Second hit's not even out yet, and you're already fast following it. Instant up air, not getting you anything. Good instant nair that was really good. You're like, screw it. There's no reason why you should be going for a grab there, though. But that being said, the instant air was good. You got nice knee. Good hit confirms, and then you screw up off ledge, and then you get punished for it. So instead of this being, you know, you maybe being able to get onto stage and then maybe sharking him, it's now you getting down smashed, and you getting F smashed and potentially killed too. Instant up air again. Not getting you anything. Please don't do it again. You waiting now? You trying to go with the knee? See, but I do like that you're overshooting more now. I remember when we talked to it before, you weren't overshooting as much, but I'm glad you are because you're at least, you know, the amount of times you've been overshooting, you haven't been getting punished for it that hard. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. No, I actually haven't. But I like
Right,
I
like right here, you're like bam, and you finally hit his bombs. Right?
I just I feel like I get too comfortable with I get rewarded with one of those overshoots and I get too comfortable and then
And then you start to only overshoot.
yep, and then by the time like they catch on, I'm like, oh shit, well I guess I can't do that much anymore. And
You just have to change it up a bit more. That's all. You have to
like
that's when using platforms comes into play. Or just getting up closer and then aggressing, right?
right. It's oh my goodness. It's like there's like everything has a fucking cooldown and you have to kind of like be wary.
It's just changing things up, right? Like
Yeah.
think of it like this. You're playing versus a player and they always like to approach you with a full drift forward knee. Or sorry, let's say Peach. Every time Peach approaches you from the ground, they always approach you with a dash attack. You're just going to be shielding it every time now. You get hit by it a couple times and you're like, "Oh, he likes to dash dance 2 times at the spacing and then dash attack me." You're going to be looking for it every single time. The same thing applies for overshooting, except the difference in a lot of situations is that they can react to Falcon jumping. So that's why it makes it much more difficult because they have the option of reacting to you jumping in which case you can start mixing in empty hops or delaying the timing or changing the move you choose or even just like pulling it back and doing like an undershot, right? So that's where you have to start to mix up your options and that all depends on what the situation is, what they like to do as a defensive option, and their percent and your percent, right? So all of that comes into effect when you choose your options, right? And then if that's not working, then you start using platforms, or you should in general just be using platforms more to actually help you mix up your approaches, or to at least get closer so you can start pressuring or at least baiting potentially, right? Good grab. Yeah, the slide off. And that's why up air sometimes, or up throw is really good because you don't get the slide off like this. That being said, your up air wouldn't have hit if they hadn't even slide off. Like, if there was no platform here.
Yeah, yeah. Way too late.
Yeah.
The dash, at least. Oh, brother.
And then now you're like, I don't even know how to get in. Instead of even like trying to do a Hail Mary, like full hop over stomp, you're just like, I have to just keep going at him straight on, head on. And it's like, try to mix things up. Maybe try and get closer, go on this platform, and then maybe use the platform. Like he's not even like most Samuses will sit on this platform here and like do double missile. He's not even doing that. He's giving you the opportunity to safely get to like close to him to maybe be able to bait him or at least get in a position where you can aggress him. And you're just like, nah, I'm just gonna sit center stage. And so for someone who's like bored, or so you say, like, I get bored on like FD. I'm surprised you're not bored here and even just at least throwing yourself at him. Like you do eventually, but it takes you like 10 seconds to do so. Right? Or 5 seconds. Like this is, oh my God, like I can't, I'm getting bored watching this. It's like, God damn, just go in there, do something, or at least get closer. And then it's funny because you go from like, I'm going to stand in center stage to I'm going to start throwing myself at him. And then you only have one mode. And then once that mode starts getting beaten, then you go back to the other mode for too long. And then once that gets beaten, you go back to the other mode for too long. And you just rinse and repeat. So right here, Yeah, double jump there. He's expecting that, and then you're just going to... Oh, he messed up. Hey, good knee. Good drift, too, as actually. But good knee. Nice. Nice sharking.
Oh,
Oh, nice forward tilt. Oh. And then
no,
you did all this great movement, good sharking, like right here, except for that missed air dodge or air dodge. You
I
did a
think
good hack stash, a good like a decent knee, even though it wasn't covering much, it's still something. And
then
then
I
you
gave it all.
and then you gave it all away. But thankfully he messed up too, and you were able to get a grab and a knee. That knee is not guaranteed, but it's something.
I haven't. I feel like I haven't threatened it the entire like time we played. So I was like,
Go
might
for it,
as well.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. See, this is what I like to see. When you attack and then they jump and now they're in a position where they've exhausted resources, you're like, okay, I'm going to go in now. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to play when they're on the defensive, but then you mess up and you shield and you mess up and then you roll. And these rolls cost you. Because it almost looks like you're trying to like wave dash and then you mess up the wave dash so you get a roll. That's another reason why wave dash sucks. Because not only does it get you nothing really positionally or even like mix-up wise, it also can cause you to flub and then you wave dash too shallow, or you roll, or you air dodge, or whatever. I could almost guarantee this is probably a wave dash here. And then you roll and then you try to attack when you shouldn't have, and then you're dead. When in actuality, you had a perfect situation to at least try to, like maybe even shield poke his feet, right? Instead, you're the one who messes up and he just falls off platform and nairs you. Nice grab. Oof.
Oh.
See, I would much rather see you doing these full hop stomps than to see you sit center stage. Because at least you're like moving and doing things. It's always better to like look, you're stomping like a monkey and it's working out great. Like look at this. Stomp, stomp. Like look at that. Like it's better to just, I'd rather see this than aerials in place and aerials with no drift and stuff like that. Like this is the kind of stuff I like to see. I don't know about those jabs, but yeah, look at it. Like look at this. Like this weight here is not bad because you're like, screw it. Like I don't need to aggress, and you're at a percent where you don't need to. Like, and like you don't really have to, right? So I don't blame you for just standing here. Maybe it was actually the connection was probably bad. The connection is like, okay, that makes sense. Even then, it's not even that bad. I love how he's charging too as the connection's going.
Like he was actually trying to play through it, and I was like, oh, all right, well, fine.
That's crazy. And then these wave dashes. See how these...
He like lagged again, and then I ran away. So
oh, okay. Like, and you're like, okay. And then he's still trying to fight.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It lagged again. I was like, fuck it. This is like the laggier one. He was like really trying to still play during all this.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, it helps him more than it helps you.
Yeah. Boom.
I mean, oh. And then you just need.
Yeah.
Okay, true. Let's do one more.
I honestly, I'm starting to love this stage.
FOD, I love it because you can stomp and get away with a lot of things.
This stage is actually stupid. It's a great stage.
It's such a dumb stage, and I love it. But yeah, see, again, you're approaching from too far away, and then you get punished for it, right? And you're dead at 0. Should be dead at 0, yeah.
Yep.
All because you did a bad approach from too far away. at 0. The difference is that you can do a more risky approach if you're lower percent, they're higher percent. If you do like a knee, because you have the ability to trade, and that can get you a kill. Where in this case, you're at 0. This stomp is extremely risky. It's a Hail Mary stomp, and you can't really get too much off of it other than a grab afterwards, in which case you'll at most get 40% overall, including the stomp. So it's not even that worth to really get. It's all this whole game, all of Melee is about risk and reward. All of it. It's all about what you can get out of a situation by doing a certain option at a certain spacing with a certain percentage for both players. That's all Melee is. It's a risk reward game. The more you can maximize your reward, minimize your risk, and do the opposite for them in their situation, the better you'll the more confident you'll be, or rather the more winning you'll be, for lack of a better word. But the good players will try to minimize how they'll play at a disadvantage, and they're able to because they can move their character how they want and when they want, right? And that's also why you'll see a lot of Falcons play very defensive at lower levels, because it's easier to play that way with less risk, right? But then trying to approach is where everything throws apart, because it's hard. You don't really think about the risk reward when you're approaching. Like when you're doing this kind of nair, you're probably not thinking about what Samus is capable of doing and what the risk is of you nairing in. You're just nairing in because you're like, I got to attack him, and this feels like the best way to do it, without actually thinking about why it may be the best way to approach, either by the move choice, by the placement of it, by the timing of it, all of that, right? You're not taking any of that into consideration when you're approaching like this. This just comes off as, I want to hit them. I'm going to nair in because I know that'll reach and I can hit them, without thinking, oh, wait, they're at 12%. They could easily ASDI this down. They could easily shield this or even, up tilt this or whatever. They can do anything. The reward for me getting this nair is pretty much nothing. The risk is extremely high, and I don't really get anything out of it at the end of the day. Right, you got up tilted for it into a throw, into a punish, and the reason he didn't get more is because he's bad. Well, he's not bad. It's more so he's just trying to go for crazy bomb shit.
I think that was an intentional shield grab. Don't want to just.
The one that was.
It was before this.
Right there.
Yeah,
right there.
No. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, he's like in your face, and you're like, oh, he's in my face. I gotta grab immediately. Nice up airs.
Should be dead.
He should be dead. He should be right here. So get this stomp. It's a weird stomp because he hit him below and like he's able to tech. That being said, if you up aired him here, you should just be able to continuously shark him. Right? But you're too far away. Like you're too far, like you're afraid to trade. That's the issue, is you're always afraid to trade, and you shouldn't be necessarily afraid to trade. If you're afraid to trade, then you have to wait till the move's done and then you hit them, instead of going for the timing on the up air where you're going to have to trade if they throw out a hitbox. Does that make sense?
When the move is done, then go for it. If you're
like right here, so you're going for the timing. So your spacing right here isn't going to hit him coming in. Right here, I'll show you. So right here, this spacing isn't going to hit him. The timing too, but if you had been a bit closer, you might have been able to hit him. But the timing in which you're doing it is when he's coming into you and he has the ability to throw out a hitbox. And if you're going to be doing this timing, you have to do the spacing that'll make it so that it trades. Instead, you could do where you wait until he lands and then up air him here. Does that make sense? So it's basically you reading him coming down instead of trying to meet him where he's coming down and up airing him, right? So right here, instead of jumping here and then staying in place and up airing him to hit him coming down and trading, because that's the best you can do, you could have waited without jumping and wait till he lands and then up air him as his nair is about to end. In which case you won't trade and you'll be able to hit him, but he has the ability to slide off now. Does that make sense? So there's either you're doing an earlier up air to trade or not trade if he doesn't throw out a move, or you're waiting until he throws out his nair and lands, in which case you do it just before he lands, and then you hit him as he's landing, and you don't trade, or you might trade, but you might be in a better position to follow up, because then you can go for like an up air and then land, and then you might be able to get a knee off of it. But the point is that what you did, you're not covering anything, because you did it too soon, and you did it at a timing where, or like not timing, a spacing where like it wouldn't have hit. Even if you had done this a little bit later, you probably wouldn't have hit him, just because you're drifting backwards. Same with this one. You weren't actually going to hit him. You weren't close enough. Your idea of the threat range is unrealistic, and it's because it's almost like you're afraid to get just close enough to get into his range to hit him. Right here, you drift back because you're like, I don't want to trade. He's coming in, and then same with this one. Instead of just being a bit closer and being still as safe, right? You could have been a bit closer and you would have been able to hit him, but because you drifted so far back, you didn't.
That was weird. Kind of lucked out by taking the bomb hit and then immediately getting the up beyond ledge. Really, the up beyond ledge is what kind of saved me.
Yeah, and he could have screwed you for this. Instead, he just opted to go
Immediately up B.
Up B, yeah.
I tried to edge cancel.
Yeah. See, like you're trying to punish him at least. The jabs I don't like. The nair I don't really like. Again, it'd be better just to bear. Again, you tried to like be in him and then attack him instead of like throwing out the up air like immediately here, right? Like you double jumped into him and then threw out the up air instead of doing like a full hop up air to catch him, like an immediate full hop up air, you know, or even a short hop up air would have been the best option.
Right.
And then you're dead because of it, because you double jumped into him. Like right here, short hop up air, or at least full hop into it up air, and you probably would have maybe have traded, but you definitely would have hit him. Ooh, I like the effort to try to punish the spot dodge, except your knee is just not fast enough. Like you're not fast enough to throw your knee, and then like you're delayed. Your knee should already be out here, or you should be have already inputted the knee here. Instead, you're inputting it too late. And it doesn't come out. See? Instant aerials. Always remember, it's like instant. You want to do it instant. It's because all Falcon's moves take a while to come out.
Right. Beard. Held shield for too long. I feel like it could have immediately gone to center. He was all the way up.
Yeah, you're trying to like reach at him, but honestly, it's better. It's at least good that you're trying to contest him being above you, right? Like that's better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're like, okay, I don't know what he was. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but at least you're trying to punish him.
I feel like this shit scared me, especially with the platform right next to me, because I feel like, not I feel like, but rather when I try not to be up underneath the platform, because I know that like depending on the platform height, like you can like not throw out of. Basically, it cuts off your aerials, some of your aerials, depending on the height.
Yeah, then I just full hop instead, or I try and move around it. You know.
Right.
I just avoid it. It's if you can't work with something or it's not in your favor, just avoid it. Just try to reset to a better position. Don't play in bad positions, and don't force yourself to only be able to do one thing. If you're only able to do one thing, that means you shouldn't be doing that one thing. Right? Like you should be getting out and giving yourself more options. Try and give yourself more options, or at least a position where you can get more options. You were even late on this knee. If you're gonna go for a hard read, you have to catch it right. Like you have to be like because he could have easily just down smashed you here before your knee was even out, or shielded. In which case your knee wouldn't have done anything. But that just could have been just not being aware of how quick he was able to attack. You're just lucky he didn't shield or down smash you immediately.
Interesting.
Hmm. Neat. Nice. There you go. Again,
Yeah, you're right. My left. Holy shit.
your left side is considerably worse than your right side. You're like messing up movement. You're not sure of yourself. It's because you're not confident. That's the thing. Everything stems from tech skill, like we've talked before. At any time you're not comfortable with something, it's because your tech skill is you're not confident in your tech skill. That's what it is. It's not you're not comfortable with your idea of what you're doing or anything. It's the fact that you're not comfortable with your tech skill, and the only way to improve that is just to keep grinding it out.
Right.
Right. The sad part of it is that so many people play melee. Not saying you do, but a lot of people play melee expecting to, be able to get by with minimal tech skill. And it's like the only way to improve this game is to get better tech skill. Watch any top level player, and you cannot tell me that they don't have really good tech skill. Like yeah, they might not have amazing tech skill relative to another top player, but in general, if you watch them, their L cancel percentage is probably in the top 90s. They're like wave shines. They never miss like the simple shit. It's only the really niche situations or one-off occasions where they really mess things up, like royally mess things up. Whereas if I look at this, I see. Let me see. I see a turnaround into a weird jump. I see a fall through platform that's awkward. I see a wave dash unnecessarily, which was a fine wave dash, but then you turn around again. You shield for some reason, you do an empty hop, and then you roll after it into a dash forward, into a turnaround shield, which didn't actually turn around, into like an instant jump, which then gets you caught. Like, that is so many mistakes in a row that it's like, it's no wonder you got hit there, right? Like, you set yourself up to fail by messing up so much tech skill. But not only that, you unnecessarily did things like just you moved around a lot for whatever reason, you know? Like you did unnecessary motions. Like you look at the left side and you look at the right side, and it's like, what the hell happened? You shield stop, shield pivot, jump backwards, bear, edge cancel perfectly. Impact landed, jump onto stage, off ledge perfectly, run through. Like, it's night and day, the difference in ability from one side to the other. It's actually just crazy to me. Now, that could have been a one-off occasion, but it wasn't. We already saw previously that it wasn't.
Nope. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's good to call it there. I think we.
No, this was very helpful. There is a silver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get a PR win. I think like there's an ICs, ENFP. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have ENFP and silver. I think the best two, if I want to get like just to start to get a good PR win, is to get one of those two matchups down. I don't know if I'm gonna get the IC matchup down before I get the Samus matchup, because like that matchup probably takes some actual work.
Those are really good. Those are really good matchups to get good at too, because Ices are really fast and very awkward in a lot of situations, and it can help you learn things that you wouldn't normally learn from other characters. And Samus is really good with dealing with floaties and building patience. Uh, and so those are actually two, and acting with like right timed aerials and hitting your like tight punishes, like floaty punishes. And so if you can learn those ones, learning how to punish Sheik and Marth and Peach, it's so easy if you're able to hit your punishes on Samus compared to those characters, especially off of throws. Same with ice climbers. Like those, if you can learn to fight those characters, playing the higher tier characters and punish specifically is going to be a lot easier to actually perform when it matters.
Okay. Because I'm so fucking long from even having a shot at taking a game from Steam.
Esteem is really good. He's one of the most underrated sheiks or players out there, actually, in my honest opinion. He's actually really good.
I think I want to see him enter a large tournament. Like all of my friends have been saying that. I don't think he'll ever go to a large tournament.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think he just likes chilling in Atlanta.
I mean, I don't blame him honestly. Playing in tournaments is great, but when you don't have the drive to do so, it's just not the same.
Like I think also it's just that like shit takes a lot of time and effort to travel across the country.
Time, effort, money. The only reason I really even want to travel to the States is to meet a lot of the people I met online during like quarantine and COVID, right?
Yeah, and also you'll be top 100. They'll be like, "Oh wait, Mateo, that's right." Yeah.
I do. I don't care about top 100 at all. Here, I'm gonna stop the stream now.